myself and my mother in a cool way. And that's how I came up with Lizzie McKenzie's Fabulous Adventures. Because she'll be leaving the earth, she raised 7 kids on her own. I knew that I had something in me with this story, with our path, that could make money. I loved cartoons, I loved writing, so what I did was tap into myself. And that was a pivotal moment when, sometimes when you're doing the silliest thing or the thing you don't expect with your talent, that's when the dream comes. So for me, I had to step away from corporate America and build this dream. So I'm taking the book and making a mobile application, and then I just recently pitched it to 4 television networks as a cartoon series. So the journey's long and hard and frustrating, but the funny thing is that whatever passion you have, just remember it. So you might be into theater, you might be into spelling, you might be into all these little weird things. There's nothing weird about it. Take those passions and make a business from it. Because that was my aha moment. When I was traveling with my mother, I was like, man, I see everybody's faces. When I tell them we saw a bullfight in Madrid, I tell them how we climbed this mountain and I was sweating and almost passed out. But I was like, man, these could be something that could be monetized. And it's funny how my mother's like, oh, I don't want to be on the book, ah! But now she loves it. When we go to fairs, oh, I love you. She's like, oh, let me pose. So just find your passion and just keep holding it. So that's why I say always do research. Always continue to study and learn and keep falling off the cliff. Because I'm constantly stumbling over it. That's why I have this hand injury. But just keep pushing yourself. I'm rambling now. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I would absolutely echo what Dina says, which is to follow a passion that you have. That once you've identified what it is that you are good at and that you like doing and that doesn't feel like work, it feels like something that you just want to do every day without, you wake up thinking, I want to do this one thing or 2 things that you really, that speak to your skills, but also that you just love. It's not, so as I said, it's not like work. Think about what it is that you love doing. I am jumping around, but I do want to come back to how it was for me. Because I came from the corporate world like Dina, and I came into a yoga world which was kind of closed, and the girls and the guys that were doing yoga at the time, it was around about 2009. It wasn't a mainstream thing. Yoga and meditation were not household words yet. So it was a little closed shop, and I felt like I was coming into this field where I was an outsider and I really had to kind of prove myself, but I worked at it. I worked at my own practice, I worked at making friends and networks, and I read as much as I could about the topic. I saw as much as I could on the internet. It wasn't, the internet at the time wasn't really as exploded as it is today, but I did as much reading as I could. And so I said, like I said, I made lots of friends, and I went to teachers' classes, and I took a lot of classes, and I got good that way. So with anything, with any mastery of any discipline, any subject, it's just repeating and repeating and coming back every time. And it's and if you trust the process, if you just keep showing up, then you will get good at it. So I would say to just repeat what Dina mentioned about choosing what you're good at and what could be potentially monetized. Just to get good at it, you just want to keep on coming back, and don't worry about the shortcomings or the pitfalls or people telling you that you are not good at something. You will get good because you just repeat it. You keep on doing it. And then, whether it's makeup, whether it's fashion, whether it's, sports or other things that you like and that you have a passion for and about, just work at it. And also don't give up hope, even on those bad days, the days that are the not so fun days where you think, I'm crap, I'm not getting any better, because you will have those peaks and troughs. You'll get those high points where you think, oh, I learned how to do this posture or this pose in my case, or maybe you learned a new technique, whatever it was in your field. Don't worry about those low points, because you will get those low points where you think, okay, today's a bad day, I have low energy or something, or things are not going well, let's say, and that will happen. But you know that it'll come right back up again. You'll have sometimes a plateau, you'll go up again, you'll go down again. That's just part of it, and it's part of life. So, keep at it is what I would say. when you first start out?
Yeah, I'll just add a little bit from my perspective. When I first was thinking about entrepreneurship, I thought about it as starting a nonprofit. So for me, I wanted to solve a social problem that I saw overseas. And so I started 2 nonprofits because there was no one doing what I was doing in Lithuania at the time. I had graduated and gotten a bachelor's degree, and I got a scholarship to go and do research on the Soviet Union at the time. It had just started to dissolve. And so I was doing research on it, and I thought to myself, wow, there's so much need here in them understanding what ecology is, what sustainability is. No one here knows that. They knew about it from an activist perspective, but they didn't know how to change. They didn't know that there was so much more to know, right? Because they weren't connected to Western Europe. Lithuania is just above Poland. It's on the Baltic Sea. It's kind of close to Sweden. So it's over in that little zone. And when I noticed that there was this huge need for entrepreneurial or ecological understanding, I have access to the West, to the Western Europe companies, and I could go and visit people, and I could have people come and speak. And so I just started making connections. I literally just started going into organizations, sending them emails. This is when email first started, guys. There was no internet when I was doing this. It was just me sending emails to people that I found, right? So I would look in directories, paper. I would look in paper directories, and I would find like, oh, here's 6 emails, and I would send out 6 emails, and then I would try and call them on the college phone, and half of them would say yes, and half of them wouldn't return my calls. And so for me, when I first started, that's what I saw. I saw like that there was just a huge need, and I needed to create something to help it. And I didn't know what it was at the time, except that I kind of saw these different organizations, and I said, why don't we just fit them all together? Why not?